first night I met Ezra, I couldn't stand him. If someone had told me I'd be wrapped up in his arms a day later, I'd have laughed in their face. Sure, he was undeniably handsome, tall, built like a Greek god with piercing eyes, but his arrogance filled every corner of the room. He barked on about how I needed to adapt to the Greek way of life, smoking, yelling, and staying out late, none of which aligned with my own goddess code of conduct. Yet, beneath the irritation, there was a flicker, something that whispered he might feel undeniably good pressed against me. We'd crossed paths earlier that day, when I stumbled into his restaurant still glowing from a visit to the Parthenon. As I savoured my meal with the Acropolis in view, a complimentary cocktail landed on my table. When I looked up, there was Ezra, towering, confident, winking in my direction. Freshly single and having recently sworn off dating apps, I was letting the universe script my love stories now. So, on my way out, I scribbled my Instagram handle on a napkin, sealed it with a pink lipsticked kiss, and slid it his way. 30 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Shall we dance tonight? Or do Americans not know how? His sarcasm nearly made me block him on sight, but curiosity got the better of me. I agreed, setting my alarm to wake from my jet-lagged nap just in time to meet him. When I finally checked my phone though, it was full of cocky messages. Dressed super sexy, please your man. Ugh, barf. I do what I want. I shot back. I'm a goddess. Radio silence, fine by me. I called an Uber to the bar, he recommended, purely out of spite. But by the time I grew tired of the overcrowded dance floor, something made me give him one last shot at another bar nearby. He was waiting there, cigarette in hand, eyes lighting up when he saw me. Look at you! You really are a goddess on earth, he murmured. I know, I replied. A newfound mantra I'd been practicing instead of the automatic. Thank you. Drink? He asked. No thanks. I'm more of a weed girdie. A sly grin played on his lips. Minutes later, a discreet napkin appeared on the table. Inside, a perfect little nug, waiting to be tucked into my purse. Okay, maybe he wasn't entirely awful, but just as the night began to soften, a sharp cramp seized my stomach. Thanks to the IUD I'd gotten in Budapest the day before. Long story, different story. The pain must have flickered across my face because, without missing a beat, Ezra flagged down the hostess and whispered something. Moments later, she returned with painkillers and water. A small gesture, but one that made my guarded heart crack open just a little. Still, he annoyed the hell out of me. His whole wooing strategy was built on riling me up, like a schoolboy with a secret crush. But as the night unfolded, he led me on a private tour through Athens' ancient streets. Cobblestone alleys, colourful houses, whispered histories under the moonlit sky. We wandered through empty marketplaces, stray cats weaving between ruins older than time. When we stumbled upon a small group of musicians playing bouzouki beneath a white oleander tree, the whole world seemed to hush. They played just for themselves, until we became their enchanted audience of two. I rolled us a joint as the music wrapped around us, his chatter finally melting into silence. When he handed me a bouquet of oleander blossoms, beautiful but poisonous, I wondered if that's how this little affair would play out. Intoxicating, dangerous, and fleeting. By 4 a.m., exhaustion and cramps won out. I left him wanting more, his longing hanging in the air as I disappeared into the night. The next day, I ignored his messages, content with the memory of our enchanted evening. But by sunset, with all of Athens checked off my list and the Mediterranean breeze calling, I found myself texting him again. How about a trip to Poseidon's temple? The coastal drive was pure magic. An hour and a half of winding roads and breathtaking views, stretching from Lake Vuliagmeni to the endless blue of the Saronic Gulf. With the salty breeze in my hair and Ezra's softer side emerging, I couldn't help but smile. By day, he was calm, attentive, his brooding intensity melting into something tender. We stopped at his favorite swimming spot, slipping into the warm waters together. I admired the ink snaking down his legs, my fingers tracing designs beneath the surface. As the sun shimmered on the rippling waves, he pulled me into his arms for the first time. My heart fluttered as his touch skimmed my waist, holding me close. Floating in the sea, his hands found their way down, teasing and testing the boundaries between us. That feels good, I whispered, letting the water carry us. His fingers pressed gently, igniting heat beneath the cool waves. Oh yeah? He murmured, voice thick with his Greek accent. He spun me in his arms, capturing my lips with his own. The kiss was slow, indulgent, just us, lost in the fading sunlight, the distant chatter of children fading into the background. We climbed the cliffs back to the car, the air between us charged. A sunset at the temple, a seaside dinner of calamari and crisp Greek salad. Every moment built the anticipation, until finally, we were alone. Okay, baby girl, take off your robe. His voice was low, commanding. I stepped into the rainfall shower, steam curling around us. We lathered each other's hair, slick fingers sliding over wet skin. His strong hands roamed my curves, pulling me close, his desire pressing against me from behind. By the time I fetched the condom, my breath was shallow, my body already melting into his. Turn around, I need you. I did as he asked, bracing myself against the cool edge of the clay tub. He filled me slowly, every inch claiming me as his own. The tightness stole my breath, heightening the ache between us. His hands gripped my hips, guiding me to match his rhythm, urgent, unrelenting. You feel so good, I gasped, surrendering to every pulse, every press. Ezra's low groans filled the room as he chased his release, leaving me trembling in his wake. But he wasn't finished. Not until he'd pulled me onto his lap, wrapping me in his arms as his fingers found their way inside me. The tension coiled deep within, unraveling in waves as I cried out, lost in the pleasure he'd promised. Later, wrapped in towels and moonlight, the sweetness of our fleeting connection settled between us. You better write about this, he teased. I smirked, tracing lazy circles on his chest. Oh, it writes itself. Life is the best writer, and this chapter had written itself in salt water, sweat, and stolen moments. Subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell button to get notification on our next sensual confessions. Leave a comment in the comments and tell me, what do you think about my love life?